I understand DNV Petroleum Services is moving more and more into the offshore field. Why?
Well, the reason is very simple. We are working with most of the ship owners, all the large ship owners today. We have done so for the last 32 years. During this period, we have seen fuel-related quality issues not being reduced, but increasing as the demand for fuel increase. We also see from the ship owner's perspective that they are increasingly using distillate fuels as their source to be compliant with international regulations. And this fuel poses some challenges operational-wise that are different from what we see with the use of heavy fuel oil. We are also aware that most offshore owners, operate on these distillate fuels. And we see some inherent risks that is changing as we move ahead to a higher degree of demand and consumption of distillate fuels in the maritime and offshore sectors.
Do you think these quality issues are well and widely understood in the offshore industry?
I think maybe not. And the reason is that most of the operators on offshore, they don't test their fuels. And if you don't test their fuels, it's very difficult for you to predict the technical parameters of the fuel, which varies quite considerably from fuel type to fuel type, depending on where you bunker it.
So how does one mitigate these risks?
First of all, you need to be aware of the technical properties, and you do that by testing the fuel, because they vary so widely from supplier to supplier. You can, of course, partly trust the bunker delivery note and the MSDS, the material safety sheet, but most of the technical parameters that influence the engine performance is not part of what you will read in these papers. So you need to be aware of the density, viscosity, not least the sulfur content. You have to be aware of the oxidation stability and how this fuel, if it will easily store, if it will keep for a long time. What happens if you cool it down? Will it actually turn solid? Which happens. We have seen that. So it's not apparently obvious when you look at the fuel just floating there and being delivered. But if you subject it to different operational conditions, it may change completely.
Now, at this annual Asia Offshore Support General Conference, DNVPS are presenting a paper.
Exactly.
And in that paper, reference is made to a Chardonnay ECA and another form of alcoholic type of ECA.
Yeah, we use the wine analogy.
Yes, yeah. Talk us through the wine analogy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the fuels, they just as you can look at the wines, some of them taste delicious, and and some of them may not be quite to your likings. And depending on the price you pay, depending on the quality, the source of the wine, it also varies hugely in quality. And this is the analogy we are trying to make, that when you change from one source to another, when you use different grapes, then also that changes the qualities of the wine.